Hello, in this presentation, I'll talk about the Indian Constitution. Let us start with discussing the meaning of a constitution. Constitution is a written document containing set of rules and principles on the basis of which a country is governed. Every state has a constitution of its own. Almost everything we do is governed by some set of rules. There are rules for games like cricket, football, tennis, basketball. There are also rules imposed by morality telling us what we should and should not do. The rules for the state are called the constitutions. In general, constitution means the supreme law of the land. All other laws have to conform to the constitution. The constitution contains laws concerning the government and its relation with the people. Meaning, a constitution is concerned with two main aspects. First, the relation between the different organs and levels of government, and second, between the government and the citizens. The original Indian constitution is handwritten and also the lengthiest constitution in the world. Originally, it consisted of 395 articles arranged under 22 parts and 8 schedules. Today, after many amendments, it has 448 articles, 12 schedules, and 25 parts. The Constitution of India is the supreme law of land. Now, let's discuss why we need a constitution. We need a constitution because it provides a set of basic rules that allow for minimum coordination amongst members of a society. India is a country with greater population and diversity. Different people have different opinions. Our life might change and we might face difficulties if there are no proper rules to govern. Constitution specifies how the government would be elected, who has the power to make decisions, and how the government will be constituted. Like the Indian Constitution provides for central, state, and local governments. Constitution outlines the limits of the power of the government and tells us about the rights of the citizens. It also ensures that government works selflessly for the people and citizens do not suffer discrimination or injustice based on caste, color, religion, gender. Constitution also enables the government to fulfill the aspirations of a society and creates conditions for a just society. Let us now discuss the history of Indian Constitution. The Constitution of India took shape during the British rule. The East India Company was abolished in favor of the direct rule of India by the British government after the revolt of 1857. The British Parliament from time to time passed various acts to make the administration in India more effective. Let us look at some of the main stages of the evolution of Indian Constitution. Government of India Act of 1858 put India directly under the control of the British government. Indian Council Act of 1861 introduced legislative body to assist Governor General in making laws. After that, Indian Councils Act of 1892 introduced elections. Act of 1909 introduced separate electorate for Muslims. After that, Government of India Act of 1919 introduced dual government. Government of India Act of 1935 introduced provincial autonomy, that is, responsible government at the provinces. The British gave up control of the government of India and Pakistan by the Indian Independence Act of 1947. However, till the constitution was made, both India and Pakistan were governed in accordance with the Government of India Act 1935. The Indian Constitution was enacted by the Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949 and came into effect on 26 January 1950. The date 26 January was chosen to honor the Purn Swaraj Declaration of Independence of 1930. Now let's discuss how our constitution was made. The Constitution of India was framed by a Constituent Assembly set up under the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946. The members were indirectly elected by the members of provincial legislative assemblies. The assembly consisted of 389 members. It held its first meeting on December 9, 1946 and elected Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, the oldest member of the assembly, as the temporary president. On December 11, 1946, the assembly elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as its permanent chairman. The strength of the assembly was reduced to 299 following withdrawal of Muslim League members after the partition of the country. After independence, it became a fully sovereign body and performed two functions. First, as a constituent assembly, it prepared the Indian Constitution. Second, as a Parliament of India, made laws for the country. The Constituent Assembly set up 13 committees for framing the Constitution. On the basis of the reports of these committees, drafts were prepared by a 7-member drafting committee under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The final draft of the Constitution was adopted on November 26, 1949 and was signed by the President of the Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and other members. Thus, it took the Constituent Assembly 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to complete the task. The Constitution was a byproduct of the legacy of British rule and our freedom struggle. Let us now discuss sources of our Constitution. Our national movement was governed by certain ideas like unity in diversity, democracy, dignity, self-respect. Moreover, our leaders cherished certain ideals like liberty, equality, socialism. Hence, our national movement and the ideals cherished by our leaders also helped in the framing of our Constitution. Constitution of several democracies of the world also influenced the framers of our Constitution. They included the best features of various constitutions in our Constitution. For example, from United Kingdoms we borrowed parliamentary form of government. From USA, fundamental rights, independent judiciary and judicial review. From Germany, we borrowed emergency provisions. From Ireland, we borrowed the concept of directive principles of state policy. Government of India Act 1935 influenced the constitution makers both positively and negatively. They abolished communal electorate but included division of power between the center and state, bicameralism and unicameralism. For example, our parliament is bicameral. We have two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and provisions for dealing with constitutional emergency. Objective resolution moved by Pandit Nehru also influenced the making of our constitution. The Constituent Assembly adopted Objective Resolution in January 1947, which specified certain objectives like India to be an independent sovereign republic, social, economic and political justice for all, securing interest of minorities, working for international peace and security. The interpretation of the Constitution is always done with reference to the principles contained in the Objective Resolution. The Indian Constitution is described as a living document, as it can be changed according to necessities of the time and situation. However, its authority, that is, the success and effectiveness of the Indian Constitution, depends on certain factors. Let's discuss those factors. First, mode of promulgation. It refers to how a constitution comes into being. Who drafted the constitution and how much authority did they have? The members of Constituent Assembly enjoyed immense public credibility. That is, they possessed strong character and were regarded as reliable. The Indian Constitution reflected national consensus at that time. Second, the substantive provisions of a constitution. The hallmark of a successful constitution is that it gives everyone in society some reason to go along with its provisions. The more a constitution preserves the freedom and equality of all its members, the more likely it is to succeed. The significant provisions of our constitution guarantees certain fundamental rights which are protected by the judiciary and also establish India as a democratic republic. Hence, India cannot become a monarchy or a dictatorship under the constitution. Third, balanced institutional design. That is, to ensure that no single institution acquires monopoly of power. For example, our constitution horizontally divides power across institutions like the legislature, executive, and the judiciary. The constitution is authoritative as well as flexible at times. The basic structure of the constitution cannot be changed, whereas, on the other hand, it has the ability to adapt changes for different needs and circumstances. In conclusion, we can say that the Indian Constitution is a living document. The interpretation may change as the time and circumstances change. However, it is a massive piece of writing that includes a detailed account of do's and don'ts. It guides citizens and government bodies to act in the right manner. Hence, serves as a guiding light for all of us.